Have you ever wondered who would win in a clash between a shadowy ninja and a disciplined samurai? One, an elusive master of stealth, and the other, a warrior bound by honor. But the truth is, their rivalry goes far beyond the battlefield. In fact, it's a tale steeped in tradition, deception, and power struggles that shaped Japan's history. Today, we're diving deep into the world of ninjas and samurai. Who were they really? And how did they fit into the fabric of feudal Japan? The answer may surprise you. Let's start with the samurai. When you picture a samurai, you probably imagine a noble warrior, clad in armor, wielding a sharp katana, and following a strict code of honor known as bushido. And while this image isn't far from the truth, there's more to the story. The samurai were the ruling military class of feudal Japan, but their origins are rooted not in glory but in necessity. Back in the 12th century, as Japan's imperial court lost its grip on the distant provinces, local lords, known as daimyos, needed protection. That's where the samurai came in. At first, they were merely hired swords, warriors paid to protect the lands and power of the daimyos. But over time, they became the backbone of Japan's military aristocracy, serving as loyal enforcers of the shogun's will. Here's something you may not know. The samurai were not always the paragons of honor they're often portrayed as today. In their early years, they were ruthless mercenaries. Battles between rival clans were frequent, and loyalty often shifted based on power and opportunity. The Bushido Code, which emphasized honor, courage, and loyalty, didn't emerge until centuries later, mostly as a way to justify and romanticize the samurai lifestyle. On the other hand, we have the ninjas, or shinobi, whose origins are far more obscure. Unlike the samurai, ninjas operated from the shadows, experts in espionage, sabotage, and assassination. While samurai boasted of their conquests in open combat, ninjas prided themselves on never being seen at all. They were the ghosts of feudal Japan, slipping in and out of the night to carry out missions that no one else could. But who were the ninjas? Contrary to popular belief, ninjas were not born from any particular class. Many were peasants or lower-ranking samurai who had lost their land or status, turning to the dark arts of espionage to survive. The art of ninjutsu, the ninja's secret techniques, was passed down in clans, with the Iga and Koga regions producing some of the most famous ninja families in history. These clans were fiercely independent and often operated outside the traditional hierarchy of Japanese society. Now, here's a lesser-known fact. Ninjas weren't always enemies of the samurai. In fact, samurai lords often employed ninjas for the very skills that set them apart: stealth, intelligence gathering, and sabotage. While the samurai would face their enemies head-on in battle, they would hire ninjas to perform the dirty work in the shadows. Spying on rivals, poisoning enemies, or infiltrating fortified castles, these were the jobs no samurai would lower himself to do, but they were crucial to victory. One of the most famous examples of ninja involvement in samurai warfare comes from the Sengo period, the Warring States era. This was a time when Japan was fractured by civil war, with daimyos constantly vying for control. It was during this period that the ninja truly came into their own. Many powerful warlords, including Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu, used ninjas to gain the upper hand in battle. In fact, Ieyasu's rise to power is often credited to his strategic use of ninja espionage to defeat rival clans. But despite their usefulness, ninjas and samurai could not have been more different in their approach to warfare. The samurai followed strict codes of conduct, engaging in ritual combat where honor and reputation were paramount. Victory was important, but the manner in which it was achieved mattered even more. To die in battle was the ultimate honor, and samurai would rather commit seppuku, ritual suicide, than suffer the shame of defeat. Ninjas, on the other hand, had no such restrictions. They would use any method necessary to accomplish their mission. Deception, disguise, poison, and traps were all part of their toolkit. A ninja's success wasn't measured by glory, but by the simple fact that they were never caught. Their role was not to fight in open conflict but to turn the tide of war through sabotage, intelligence, and covert actions. Here's a curious fact. Some ninjas were so skilled in disguise that they could live among their enemies for years without ever being detected. They mastered the art of becoming invisible, not through magic or supernatural means as legends often suggest, but through meticulous training in observation, mimicry, and blending into their surroundings. Despite their differences, the samurai and ninjas were two sides of the same coin in feudal Japan. Both were products of the chaotic, violent era they lived in. But while the samurai represented the order and tradition of the ruling class, the ninjas embodied the chaos and uncertainty of warfare. They were the perfect complement to the samurai's rigidity because where the sword could not reach, the shadow could. As Japan began to unify under the Tokugawa shogunate in the early 17th century, the need for ninjas began to diminish. The country entered a long period of peace known as the Edo period, and the chaotic warfare that had defined the previous centuries came to an end. Samurai retained their social status, but they transitioned into bureaucratic roles, no longer needed for constant battle. And the ninjas? They faded into legend. Many of their clans disbanded, and their secrets were lost to time. What little we know about them today comes from scattered historical records and folklore, much of which has been exaggerated over the centuries. But perhaps that's the ninja's final trick, the ability to remain an enigma, even to this day. While the samurai left behind swords, castles, and a code of honor that has been immortalized in history books, the ninja's true legacy is the mystery they shrouded themselves in. Their impact on Japanese warfare was undeniable, yet they slipped through the cracks of history, just as they slipped through the shadows of feudal Japan. So, who were the true masters of feudal Japan? The disciplined samurai or the elusive ninja? The answer isn't so simple. Both played their roles in shaping the course of Japanese history, and both left behind legacies that continue to captivate us. The samurai embodied the power of order and tradition, while the ninja represented the strength of adaptability and secrecy. In the end, it wasn't one or the other, it was the delicate balance of both that defined Japan's most turbulent era. And that's the beauty of history. Sometimes, the most fascinating stories lie in the gray areas between myth and reality. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Until next time.